So there was an article posted on MS Power User on July 4th, and it was actually talking about how Oppo is going to be releasing 2 foldable phones this year. Now, this was posted by Joe Rogan. Shout out to him for going ahead and creating this article. Nonetheless, though, in the article, he does talk about how, yes, Oppo is thinking about creating 2 different cell phones. They're going to be making a second generation of their Oppo Find 5G, and also going to be making a flippable cell phone that would be the true competitor to the Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, I will say this does interest me a lot, and the reason why is because of how popular the Oppo Find 5G actually was and how successful it was. And if that is the case, it's probably going to be very successful if they create a Z Flip 4 competitor. Nonetheless, though, in this video, I want to talk about what could they upgrade, what could they fix. Obviously, they have no iteration right now of the Oppo Find and Flip G. I don't know what they would call it, but right now the speculated name is called Dragonfly. So it might be called the Oppo Find 5G 2 and the Dragonfly for the second iteration. I don't know how I feel about this. Nonetheless, though, if you guys are new and you guys have not heard of the Oppo Find 5G, let me go ahead and break this down for you. By the way, shout out again, like I said, to the article right here by Joe Rogan of MS Power User. I want to make sure I give my credit where credit's due. But this is on your screen right here, the Find in 5G. The biggest thing about this phone is that it takes everything the Z Fold 3 has, and it does not make you have to sacrifice with a crease on the display. So it's a creaseless display. It's a little bit smaller of a phone. It has a bigger outside display and very similar inside display. All right, so here's the actual specs of the phone. This is the Oppo Find 5G. It was released in last December, which a lot of people were excited about this release. It does, of course, have a foldable AMOLED 120 hertz display, which is a 7.1 inches. It is coming in at 1920p. It does have a cover display, which of course is going to be AMOLED Gorilla Glass Victrix. It doesn't say what the refresh rate is. I believe it is also going to be 120 hertz. If not, this new second iteration, that's the first thing that needs to be done with, is that it does have 120 hertz outside display. Now, something that they did talk about in the Z Fold 4 was, of course, the fact that the outside display would now get S Pen connectivity. You can actually use the S Pen in the outside display, which you can't use on the Z Fold 3. That's another thing I really do hope they fix on the Oppo Find 5G 2, is the ability to use a pen of some kind of stylus on the outside display, which again would be very similar to what we see out of the Z Fold 4. Now, I will say I'm not really too interested in them making this phone bigger. One thing with the Z Fold 4, it's actually going to be smaller than the Z Fold 3. It's less of a hinge, and overall the actual size of the phone is smaller. I would kind of be perfectly okay if they kept the same exact form factor with the Oppo Find 5G 2. I don't really think they need to make it any bigger. I know they might do it, but I really do not believe they need to, especially because a lot of people, why they love that phone was because of the fact they love the Find 5G was because of the fact of the actual form factor. So they like the fact that it's smaller than the Galaxy Z Fold 3. So something they do not really, in my opinion, have to upgrade. Nonetheless, though, of course, they do have a Snapdragon 888 processor. Most likely we will be receiving the same one as the Galaxy S22 Ultra, which will be a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It does come with an octa-core, again, like I said, CPU, GPU chipset. All this will be upgraded to the latest and greatest. Also, I do hope it does come out with Android 12 or 13. I'm going to say probably 13 because based on what we have seen, 13 is like an upgraded Android 12L. It actually gives you very formatted when it comes to foldable cell phones. So Android 13 would probably be what it needs to be released with. It does come with 8 gigabytes or 12 gigabyte options of RAM. With the Find 5G 2, I'm hoping it just comes with that across the board, just 12 gigabytes across the board. It's not bad to give an 8 gigabyte option, but if you're trying to compete with the Z Fold 4 that already gives you a guaranteed 12 gigabytes already, I would love to see that come with that out of the box. Now, something we know the Z Fold 4 will be having is actually the same sensor that is in the Galaxy S22 Ultra. So that's another thing I really do hope they make sure they perfect with this phone, is giving us a really good camera on the on the Oppo Find 5G 2. Now, the old one was 50 megapixel, 13 and 16. Now, that's all great and everything. I've said this many times in my videos that megapixels really mean absolutely nothing. All that really matters at the end of the day is the sensor on the camera. A lot of people are like, oh, 100 megapixels, that's awesome. Not really. The only thing megapixels actually matter for is how many pixels are in the image. And unless you're printing out that image, you're not really going to matter for you. Especially if you're just posting on social media, every image gets like, it gets compressed and it just becomes overall worse. The better the sensor, the better the actual camera. Nonetheless, though, it does, of course, old one came with 4K, 30, 60 FPS. I really do not care about 8K. I know that this phone right here, the Galaxy S22 Ultra, does actually record at 8K, 24 FPS. I don't really think it's a big deal if this phone did or not. I think video-wise, I think it would be absolutely fine if they just kept the same thing. And if that kept the price down, I think that would be the best for everybody. The old one did have a 32 front megapixel camera. I think that's fine for this new one. Doesn't really have to be better. They want to upgrade the video for the front camera to 60 FPS. That'd be cool. But I don't know how many people are actually recording or trying to record 4K with their front phone camera. But if they want to upgrade it, as long as the price doesn't skyrocket, I'm not too much against it. But again, like I said, just no skyrocketing that, and I think that would be better for everybody. So of course, it does have wireless charging already, which is again another thing that the Z Fold 3 and 4 will have. So that's not too much of a big deal. It does have a fingerprint reader, which I don't really think is too big of a deal. I don't really think it needs to have the, under display camera or under display fingerprint reader like the Galaxy S22. I think it's fine to have exactly what it had last iteration. That doesn't really need to be upgraded. Fast charging obviously is always nice to have. That's something that they can continue to do. No big deal. Different colors would be nice, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. I will definitely say though, in improving waterproofness is something that really is important. Especially with the Z Fold 3 and 4 having even better waterproofness on Z Fold 4. But Z Fold 3 already amazing against water, can be held under, I think it's 5 meters of water for 30 minutes and it will be fine. So that's something that this phone, the Oppo Find 5G 2, if it's called that, needs to go ahead and make sure that they perfect and fix, is making sure this phone is waterproof. That's something that the Surface Duo 1 and 2 are being held back on, is their inability to make them waterproof. I will definitely say I'm hoping that we can see that, but we have to wait and see what ends up happening. Now for the Z Flip 3's replacement or Z Flip 4's replacement, the Dragonfly, honestly, I really just want to see this crease removed. According to sources, we're going to see a new hinge for the Dragonfly. So this hinge right here would not be, it'll be a better hinge than the Galaxy Z Flip 3. That would be awesome. Waterproofness, NFC, having the ability to, of course, wireless charge, very important. Most likely, I'm going to guess Dragonfly will probably have a bigger outside display than this 1.1 inch outside display of the Z Flip 3. Like I said before, I'm just interested to see what they end up coming up with, because unlike the Oppo Find 5G, where we can take that phone and say, okay, A, B, C, and D was here, they need to fix this, and this. We kind of can't do that with the Z Flip 3's replacement, the Dragonfly, because we don't know what they're going to do, right? We have nothing to go off of to kind of gear toward, okay, can you make sure you guys fix A, B, C, and D? They're going to go into this, and with the Oppo Find 5G, they hit a home run. I'm really hoping they hit a home run again. Like I always say, guys, it's always great to have competition in any tech industry. If you don't have competition, you're not going to get the best product. In the end of the day, the person who wins when you have competition is the consumer. The consumer always wins, because when you have people competing against one another, then the best product is being put out. That's why we've seen for the longest time, before the Galaxy S series really took off, Apple really didn't upgrade their iPhones at all. And in reality, they really made, not crappy products, but they made the same exact iPhone for like 7 years in a row, because Samsung, Android, they weren't competing with Apple. Now that they're competing, Apple's creating new cell phones, actually adding new features, and with iOS 14, they give us the ability to actually customize our cell phones. So again, like I said, competition, always a great thing. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, hit that like, subscribe down below. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.